Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. So today's not going to be a video about League of Legends gameplay. Instead, it's going to be another one of those announcement type of videos because it seems like Riot is teasing us with something else. Now, Camille has been out for a few weeks now. She's been out in the League scene for a decent amount of time. So it's not too surprising to start to see maybe some kind of new teaser for a new champion or a new rework or something like that, And it seems like today Riot has announced, or at least given us, a new teaser. Now, obviously, nothing's confirmed exactly as to what this teaser is for, or what the champion is, but there's a lot of hints, and I'm about 99% sure, honestly, that this is a teaser for the WARWICK rework. Now, WARWICK has been scheduled to get a rework sometime pretty soon, actually, in the year of 2017, and luckily for us, we are in the year of 2017. So there's this post right here called "Engineering the Nightmare." It's a pretty decently, it's not that long of a read, but there's a decent amount of stuff to have, to read and understand. I'm not gonna read it all with you guys. I did read it myself. Essentially, it's just kind of, it's like a journal or a diary that Singed himself is writing. You can see at the very bottom here, you can see Singed chilling, and that is, what we're looking at to be the new WARWICK, essentially, that he's essentially creating, Now, in WARWICK's old lore, actually, WARWICK drank some kind of potion that turned him into the beast that he is, and I believe that potion was from Singed. He got the potion from Singed one way or another, and that's kind of the resemblance there. Now, I'm sure that, the new WARWICK, the reworked WARWICK, is going to have a completely new lore and all that stuff, right? So, I don't know how similar it'll be to the old one, but it'll probably be something related to what's happening in this little blog post right here that Singed wrote. So you can see Singed chilling, he's thinking, he's essentially experimenting and creating the new WARWICK. Now, if you look at the very, very top, right here, you're going to see, how could I refuse, blah, blah, blah. Hold on. There's one part where I can't remember which part it was exactly, but essentially it says how the target pleads for for mercy. He's saying don't do this to me, blah blah. He's saying I'm a good person now and all that stuff. Let me see if I can maybe just search here. Good man right here. Insisted he was no longer a monster but a good man. Ignored the distractions and thread the lengths of delicate hoses throughout his extremities, splicing them with his veins and arteries. So essentially, Singed is pretty much performing surgery on him while he's alive, and from what I understand, feeling almost every little bit of pain, and he's trying to use his science and use his expertise and uses evilness, if you will, to create this kind of experimentation of a subject. He's trying to really see how far can the human body be pushed, and what can he really create, what kind of monster can he create that's successful, if you will. So there's a lot of stuff to read like that. So this part is just talking about how he's doing all these things and cutting him and going through his bones and stuff like that and implementing stuff, and it's a lot of, it's pretty disgusting, honestly. It's pretty disturbing if you read it and actually kind of take it to heart, if you will. But he's trying to make what is that we're going to be knowing as the new WARWICK, severed limb. He's cutting off limbs and stuff like that, and he's creating a new design. You can see here the claws, which obviously, WARWICK, he does have claws, and this is going to be, I'm assuming, what he'll be using to kind of, maul his opponents and stuff like that, and enhancements. He's adding all these weird kind of things to him to try and make him almost like maybe even like a cyborg or some kind of augmented champion or augmented human being or thing or whatever you want to call it. Here you can see transmutation. And then he says right here, it's pretty interesting actually, he's an instant later, so this is after he's almost done, right? And then apparently, this WARWICK, he kind of comes out of his constraints, and then he says, an instant later, he was tearing into my face, reopening the old wounds and feeding the old rage. We struggled briefly until he finally grew a limb and collapsed. A single word escaped his throat, and when all the indicators of life faded and the body finally settled, no heartbeat detected. Applied several drops of caustic solution to his left arm and received no response. Subject deceased. Dragged the body outside and disposed of the remains in the sump. So essentially, it seems like Singed thinks that the body, a little too much was done to him, a little too much of just experimentation or whatever you want to call it, and he finally, reached that certain point, the breaking limit, and he just essentially died, right? So he threw him out, but then you can see Intruder, the very last part of it, he's saying how someone actually, broke down his doors to his laboratory, for Singed's laboratory, and just destroyed everything inside of it, just literally everything. And you can see here, the laboratory was torn from its hinges. Torn, right? That's something that WARWICK would do, obviously. And then it says right here how he just destroyed everything, and based on the way everything was destroyed, so we can read it together, it'll make more sense. Its heavy wooden planks cleaved and splintered into kindling. Inside, my equipment and provisions suffered a similar fate. Nothing was spared, and everything bore the same deep, gouging slash of sharpened metal. Hours of examining and comparing the marks confirmed the truth. The subject had returned. So clearly, what he thought he was, the subject was dead, he's obviously not dead. He's still very much alive, and then he's obviously getting his revenge, destroyed everything. And now Singed wants to kind of figure out what exactly did the subject say from his last words before Singed thought he died, and that's kind of the idea behind that. But I mean, I'll link this down below. You know, if you guys want to read it for yourself, it's a pretty interesting read. Honestly, it's pretty well written and it's very, very interesting. But essentially, this is going to be a teaser, right? Teasers never really give you all that much information in terms of what you're actually looking at or what exactly is really, really happening, other than the fact that we can confirm that this is going to be Singe trying to create what essentially is going to be the new champion, or in this case, what I believe to be the Warwick rework. And I mean, that's kind of the idea there. So, I mean, Warwick Rework seems to be coming very, 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 very soon. Now, I looked at Reddit and some people said or theorized on some abilities that were potentially maybe teased in this little poster here. So we'll quickly go over them right now. Let me see, 2 doses to subdue him. So here's one of the first ones. It required 2 doses to subdue him. So it seems like maybe he has some kind of like crowd control resistance built within his kit, you know, so it requires more CC to actually kind of bring him down. So very similar to maybe something like an Aurelia passive, though I hope it's not too similar, because then that'll be kind of boring and lazy in my opinion. The next thing is going to be pain proved to be the catalyst of change. As hypothesized, pain proved the catalyst of change. So this kind of seems like maybe when the subject is, the longer they're in combat, the more they're fighting, the more they get, you know, stronger, the more maybe kind of bonuses that they get or something like that. Very similar to actually Tryndamere if you think about it. You know, the more Tryndamere fights, the higher his rage builds up, or maybe even Renekton, and, you know, their abilities get stronger, or bonus effects, or whatever. So this seems to be kind of a similar idea here for Warwick. Though, again, I hope it's not too similar to those champions, because, I mean, that will be kind of boring, and, you know, it's pretty much the same thing, just sort of rehashed, and that's not all that interesting. So that's kind of one idea there, or one hypothesis, if you will. Then we have this. Even now, hours after the aborted procedure, flesh continues to grow and outpace the formation of misshapen bone. So this one kind of gives you an idea of maybe taking a lot of damage. The user gets kind of like a lot of regeneration, or maybe the more damage they take, the more they start regenerating, or the more durable they become, or something like that. So that kind of gives you an idea. So based on this already, it does seem like Warwick is going to be kind of a bruiser-ish type champion, which is not surprising. I mean, he is, even now, still sort of considered a bruiser. I'm not really sure what he considers the current Warwick. He's kind of just in a league of his own, honestly. But it seems like the new one is going to be a very kind of durable, you know, bruiser kind of guy, that very similar to maybe Sion, you know. Sion got reworked, but now he's like this big guy that just can take and soak up a lot of damage, and he's very, very durable. And it seems like Warwick is going to be kind of following suit on that. But the next thing we have is after taking, rather this one. Can't even spell right now. This one. So it may lack the refinements of true chemistry, but last night it served my purpose. So this right here is essentially kind of the idea of creating things using, you know, like ore and smithing and stuff like that. Honestly, I have no idea how to pronounce this word. If I try to pronounce it, I'm probably going to sound like an idiot. But so essentially, this is the part that he says, you know, he's creating a new design. He's making all these cloths for him, and, you know, he's putting on these cloths for him also, and et cetera, et cetera. So this kind of gives you not only the idea that it's probably going to be Warwick, but this also gives you an idea of maybe something, you know, it enhances his auto attacks in one way or another. Maybe it gives him some kind of new special powers with these specific claws when he attacks with them. So that could be pretty cool as well. And the last thing, this one is, I'm not entirely sure, honestly, but maybe it makes sense. I'm not really sure. Hours of examining and comparing the marks confirmed the truth. The subject had returned. So obviously in this lore, a Singe thought he died, right? So, you know, the subject essentially, you know, his heart stopped beating, he just passed out, boom, he's gone. And then the Singe, you know, he threw him out thinking that he's 100% dead, but then, what do you know, he's back, and he's ready to go, and he's ready to rumble. So that kind of can suggest that maybe this new Warwick, or this new champion, or whatever this is, but most likely Warwick, has some kind of revive passive, which again, a little bit boring, because, you know, we have Zillion's ultimate, we have Aatrox's passive that also revives him, so very similar to what champions already have, but it does seem kind of, you know, there's no reason that they would have this kind of part of the lore where this target, or the subject, in this case Warwick, died, but then came back, and suddenly he's good to go. So it's a little, you know, that has to have some kind of relation to his kit that will come out, because there's no other reason that they would have such a specific detail or specific thing that happened inside this, you know, lore, diary of Singe or whatever. So I feel like, you know, these are some, maybe not, maybe all of them, maybe some of them, maybe none of them, his potential abilities when he gets finally released. Now, the fact that they released the teaser now is Thursday, I believe, means that, you know, it's a pretty good chance that maybe we'll see him on the PBE coming next week, maybe the Tuesday or something like that, which would be pretty exciting. So, again, very, very, very high chance that we have a Warwick rework coming afoot here, you know, coming right maybe around the corner. I'm really excited. I don't know about you guys. I'm very, very excited. The new Warwick is going to be super, super cool because, well, the old Warwick, the current Warwick, the one that we have now on the live servers, is not very good. Honestly, he's very outdated. He's extremely outdated, actually. Very, very boring and stale champion, extremely one-dimensional. So I'm hoping that this one kind of doesn't even look like Warwick anymore. It looks like some kind of human turned into some cyborg augmented reality. No, not augmented reality, but some augmented creature-ish, if you will. So I'm very, very excited to see what this kind of new Warwick can look like, or what it can do, or exactly just what this champion is. So there you guys have it, boys and girls. Warwick Rework seems to be confirmed, coming in just maybe even a couple of days, so I'm very excited. If you're excited, boom, make sure to hit it with that like button and show your support. Once it does hit the live servers, once the abilities are released, you guys know I'll make a video on that. I'll let you guys know everything about that and all that good stuff. So that's about it for this video. I want to kind of talk over this whole, post-made kind of diary of Singed. Let you guys know that the Warwick rework most likely is going to be right around the corner. It's definitely coming. The teaser is here. Check it out. I'll link it down in the description below. But either way, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next video. Peace, 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 peace.